Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 10th, 8:30 a.m., and we are here for Commissioner Consent Agenda Review.
Hi, Rob.
Hello. Dun, 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 dun. Barb, did we have an invitation to the chief for a day? I haven't been contacted at all to read.
Yes, it is on your calendar for June 12th, and the proclamations will be signed today.
Okay, I saw that. That's why I was kind of curious. I just don't remember discussing going and what time and reading and all that.
Probably haven't discussed it, so maybe we can do that right now. I'm assuming all three of you will be in attendance. It's this Thursday at 10:30.
Yes. Saw that. So there'll be more to come on that then today, Mark.
I just assumed that the sheriff had been talking to you about it.
He hasn't talked to us much for a couple months.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about it until I saw it yesterday.
Okay. So Chief for a Day event is this Thursday from 11 to 12. I have it on your calendar for 10:30. And the proclamations will be signed today. And a commissioner, usually the chair, will read the proclamation if they have a stage this year to all of the attendees and the participants. There's 11 this year from all the jurisdictions.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Looks like we have a couple walk-ons this morning.
You have two walk-on items from Central Services. The first one is the contract with Ellensburg Fence for the Fairgrounds Fence Line Replacement Phase 1 project for $88,300.40. The second one is the contract with JM Pacific Inc. for the Grant County ADA paving and asphalt repairs project at the fairgrounds in the amount of $13,380.56.
Who is that one with?
JM Pacific Inc.
Okay.
You do have a department head review today at 11:30. Do you have all the forms that you need? I know at one point, Cindy, you had all of the sheets. So I don't know if you still have them back there. Do you need staff to bring some down?
Is that a new review or meeting with someone we already reviewed?
It's for Brett Hill. So you've already.
Yeah, I have the sheet in my folder there.
Perfect. And there will be no par for your signature because he's associated with the state and the judges. So there will not be a par until deemed by the state.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, they get their raise July 1.
Are there any items on consent agenda that anybody wants to discuss or has questions about?
No, I'm just looking over this one for the fence, the other one that came in.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet.
I can forward it to you, Rob.
Okay. I should be in by 11. I have a deputy where I got to go change some locks and put some stuff in the road at 10 a.m.
You gotta put things in the road?
Yeah, I got to put some things in the road.
Done that a few times.
Yeah, it's like $8,000 and somehow I feel bad about it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Okay, yeah, it looks like the judges have a salary increase 1% increase plus the others, so. Our Superior Court judges will be at 237,000. These people are 226. I don't know what they currently are. I don't have anything.
Okay. Anything, Kevin?
No, everything else looked fine. This looks good. I don't have any questions on this either.
Okay. Barbara, Caitlin, or is there anything else that needs to be brought to our attention this morning?
Not for me.
Well, I got prices for the mini beach balls and the rubber ducks. They're pretty close in price. So I think the rubber ducks are for 500 of them, they're $1.32 each. For the beach balls, for 500, it's $1.09. Did the commissioners want to choose which one to get, or do you want to hold off? As your direction?
I would do some of both.
That's what I was thinking.
Do you have room, like, a place to put them?
Probably. Do you like? Are you thinking like 250 of each? I was only planning on getting 500 of these, like the fun things.
Well, actually, 500 goes by pretty fast if you're gonna hand them out at the fair. I don't know, where do you hand them out at?
It'd mostly be like job fairs for human resources,
Okay.
but they don't tend to take a ton of stuff.
I think I'd do half and half, but that's just my thought.
Is there a big
250
increase?
each.
And they
What's the
have
minimum you can do?
250.
Okay.
Does it change the price much by doing 250 of each? Probably not.
Not much. It's like 6 cents for one and 3 cents for the other, so.
And I think I'd do half and half, because then you got options.
Okay. Rob, are you good with that too?
Yep.
Okay, I will get those ordered. Thank you.
All right. Well, if there is not anything else for right now, we will go into recess until Oh, that's Monday. Till Public Works at 9 a.m.
Good morning, it is 9 o'clock. We are here with Public Works for their weekly update. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. We'll start with our accomplishment updates from John. So our last week update for maintenance, the litter crew, they're out, it looks like in Moses Lake area. Looks like they got 1.91 tons collected. Lots of different roads, lots of illegal dumps. At the landfill itself, we had 2,658.97 tons received last week. On the roads, we have started seal coating. We did 20.60 miles last week. We also have people left over that are blading and rock raking, doing a little bit of gravel replacement. It's like the bridge crew is finishing up the monuments maintenance in the seal coat areas. Did some culvert cleaning and some pre-leveling in District 3. They're over southwest of Quincy, between White Trail and Highway 281, doing that type of work. So seal coat's in full swing. The start of our second week. They should be moving over to District 2. If they didn't move yesterday, they'll be moving today. We'll be done with District 1 already. So everything's moving along really well. Any questions?
You said 20.6 miles? You guys are really scooting. When you get together, you just really move.
Yeah, 4 loads a day. It goes pretty quick. We think we'll be done, barring any major catastrophes, middle of July. We think we'll be done in 6 weeks with all the county seal coat.
There was a request to Justin Brown will be reaching out to do Royal Road. Royal.
Great.
Not to grade it, but possibly to do like a cost share. We don't do cost share, but a road improvement district. It is pretty dusty. They just get the soft holes. Is it Royal Road? It's,
Royal Slope Road?
yeah. They're coming off of at the base of Frenchman Hills. Royal Slope Road.
It runs between Adams and goes east.
It's the side that's not, so whatever the main one that goes to Royal City, like Spuds, you know, that goes to Royal City, and then it goes to the base of Frenchman Hills, and then it separates, and this side is paved, this side is not.
Okay, back from G east to E. There's about a 2 mile stretch of gravel there.
And yeah, it gets really powdery and soft, and I believe that's where he's. I don't know if we have more orchard out there too, that,
There's a lot.
Okay.
There.
but it is kind of weird that we haven't paved that little section.
I
Maybe not
don't
the water traffic.
think it, we've ever had the ADT or anything else to do it. E is oiled up to that point, and G, so there's 2 miles there, and then I think there's maybe F goes north up to, is it Justin? It's Farrah's brother.
That could be where.
I think that's where his place is up there too, so.
The more to come. We'll see if he gets an application in.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, we would like to discuss the 6-year step.
All right. See if I can bring it up on our website. So the draft of the 6-year step, the proposed one, is for 26 through 31, is on our website now. Good? I think we're good. So underneath departments, Public Works, go to engineering. I'm gonna have to get my focus one of these days. So underneath engineering, road planning. Underneath road planning is where we have our 6-year plans, and on there you can see projects over the next 6 years that are proposed. So the previous step, last year's, all the information you see is from last year's. So you can see the projects that are this year and the next 3 years. Now, every year we're required to come in and have a hearing for the next 6 year. So I put it up there. There's the draft. Next Tuesday, hopefully I'll get this sent to you today so that we can have a notice of hearing next Tuesday, and then on July 1st, have the hearing for our next 6-year tip. So I wanted you to be able to see it so you can look at it. There's only a few changes really. There's some mild changes, specifically the order of the gravel to oil, an adjustment for the next 4 years, but then getting right back into the same line of work. So take a look at it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up real quick. Actually, let's just click on it and bring it up.
Are you doing the draft? Is that
Correct.
the- Okay.
Until you sign it, it's
Okay.
really
Wanna
a
make sure, 'cause
draft.
I actually opened it, okay.
It's not approved by you yet, obviously. So when you look at it though, page 2 kind of has the layout that the usual items are on there. You're adopting resolution, our current inventory. And then one of the things that I've done is I've added the previous year's work to that. So kind of in order to think ahead for the next 6 years, you need to see what you've been doing this
I
year
just
and the year
see
before.
The resolution, it has Danny's name on it still.
Oh my goodness.
I won't tell Danny. I will not tell Kevin, but if you hear.
Oh.
Scroll down
I-
one more.
This is the one from last year. So Somehow the wrong one got attached. That's a good eyes. So I have made an updated one and it needs to be attached to this. We'll get that on there today. This was just posted this morning too. So I'll have staff update that. Thank
Don't want to
you.
leave my buddy Kevin out of the fun.
Oh, I know. Well, I actually made the updated one, but it's not attached to it. So anyways, the
That'll
updated one
probably
is
be the
right.
only thing I'll catch all week, so.
No, it's an
sorry.
excellent catch. Thank you. I have to, since I'm only, 10 hours a week, I have to depend on
You have to
staff
really,
big time. Yeah. And they do a great job. Once in a while, you attach the wrong item.
And
I've
it's
done it
good to
before.
see you today, Dave.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So this is right, though. This is the 24 and 25 projects. So this gives you an idea of what was completed. And what happens with a 6-year tip with the county is you have 40 projects. You've got $60 million of projects. And sometimes your funding can take years to get in place for that. And also you want to balance your work so you're not all doing it in 1 year, right? So when you look at the 6-year tip, and I know it's 11 by 17s, but when you look at the totals, I'm trying to track the totals at about 10 million a year, except for the last 2 years because we're still adding projects for 30 and 31. In addition, I try to make it so that our local, the amount of local money that we spend is under 2 million. So 1.5 to 2 million, you'll see pretty much every year, and it's being expended of local money. And that means the other 8.5 million is grant money. So it always takes some of our local money, 15% perhaps, to leverage to go after these grants to pay for the rest. So that's what you do with a 6-year tip. Now, the problem with that is getting that funding in place, also to have the staff to actually be able to do the work too. And right now the engineering section is really low on staff. And so we're working to rebuild that section. So what we have done though, you can see the green items are complete. And then what I did is the blue items, this is for 2024, last year, but the blue items say that we moved the work forward to either this year, 25, or 26. Sometimes it's construction, CN, or PE engineering work. But the green items were completed in 24. And then if we move forward to this year, 25, you can see that we have a whole bunch under construction. And that there's going to be some items that get pushed back a year because we just really don't have the staff to be able to do it right now, which is one of the conversations I had last year with the board, is trying to staff up to be able to do this work. So then we get into the proposed 6-year plan. Here's the map that shows where all the projects are all over the county. And then each year after that, starting with 26 through 31, the proposed work. Notice that when you're looking at the funding sources, anything in yellow is grants, anything in blue is local match money. So there are some projects that we do completely locally, but usually they are smaller, say 400,000 or less. What our whole purpose is to go after grants, use again, a small amount of local money to leverage that to bring in large federal grants to be able to do these projects. And it frankly just takes time to organize that. And sometimes you have to push a project back a year. Sometimes you have to move a project up, which is what we had to do the last 2 years with me, is I actually moved some projects forward and got them out rather than back. But there's a lot of factors that go into that. And then what happens as well, you as the board, you will approve those individual projects with county road projects, CRPs. So each of those will come in and you would have a resolution to move those projects forward. So you'll notice for next year's projects, there's a column that says county road project CRPs. So you'll notice there's a lot of CRP numbers, but as you go forward in time, 4 years out, you're not going to be individually authorizing those projects for years. So you'll see there's very few CRPs. After a while, it's all just to be determined without CRPs. So over the next 2 years, though, you'll see that there is CRP numbers, county road project numbers that are in there. Those have been specifically authorized by resolution for the county engineer and staff to conduct. So that's what a CRP does, is it authorizes us to move forward with those. The plan, the 6-year plan, is just that plan. And then those individual projects are authorized by the board through CRPs when we get the money in place, when we get the staffing in place to do so. So there it is. Besides the fact that there's the wrong last year's resolution sitting there, I'll get that updated and get this reposted today for you. And so what'll happen is next Tuesday, we'll have a notice of hearing. So we'll meet again, I think next Tuesday in the afternoon. That's it. That's all I have for you now. Just wanted to show you that it's there and it's time for you to take a look at it and we can talk more.
Thanks, Dave. Did you guys have any questions on our consent items for that surplus list?
No, I didn't.
Well, one of the things you'll see on there is those 4 Bomag rubber tire rollers. We're able to replace those with 2 larger ones because of this giant chip seal crew. I'd have 4 because we'd have 2 districts going at the same time. So these larger ones, it's 2 less people, 2 less machines to maintain, and they'll do a better job. So that was another benefit of the chip seal crew.
That's how you're getting it done so fast then.
But yeah, it's 4 loads that's a lot of oil, but it's probably 90% of the staff, 85–90% working on it.
Yeah. Instead of 100% of each district working individually, now District 3 can have 12 people that are out grading and pre-leveling and that type of stuff instead of on the seal coat crew.
It's just the equipment reduction. We're going to reduce our fleet by 1 chip box, 1 distributor. Those 2 together are close to
900,000.
The rollers, we're going to go from 4 to 2. The bigger ones are more expensive, but let's keep on 2 now instead of 4. 2 less employees every day driving in. There's been a lot of benefits to that.
Makes sense.
It was a good idea. I wish you were fine, John. John, do you have any West Shore update?
So they're going to start putting down top course on West Shore. And I believe that was going to start maybe today. And then it sounds like maybe the 18th, they're looking at starting the day. And then that is the same complaints, the same issues. Sure you guys all got the new email.
Yeah, we got a few of
Cindy's friend
Oh, I haven't gotten one. Did she send another one out lately?
to everybody.
No, I just see the latest one we have is speeding on West Shore.
Yeah, she sent another one out. Well, Barb forwarded it to us.
I think it was Friday. Maybe.
Okay, I could
Yeah,
have
we got a
gotten,
few.
just a minute,
We got a few letters this last week.
let me see if I
And-
got I probably did get it. Just a
She
minute.
is correct in one part. When I first spoke with her, I was talking with the inspector and I did tell her there wasn't room for another one per what he was telling me. But then we drove out there and visually looked at what she had been given. And then I called her and told her we're not giving you another one. So
Right.
she didn't put that part in because she had told me it was a inconvenience. And when I told her she wasn't getting one, then it was more than an inconvenience. It was a necessity. And well, you told me inconvenience last week, but now it's a necessity, and it's not.
Yeah, I
at
did
all.
talk to her on the phone, and she changed her need.
Yeah. So I still strongly suggest we absolutely do not give her
Because
one.
she already has 2.
Yeah, she has one north side of her house and then a 32-foot, which if you think about it, it's almost the size of Dotson Road for an approach. She wants another 20-foot for a circle driveway. And it's absolutely unnecessary. And I said, we don't do it at all.
But we had any comments about the slope and fixing that, the issue on the east side of the roads?
None that I've been spoke to.
Yeah. Maybe they talk to the inspectors. I'm not sure.
We haven't heard anything this week so far.
Have they spoke to any of those individuals along on the long leg?
The inspectors have, Tyler is waiting for, he needs something from the contractor in order to officially approach them. So he's working on that.
Okay.
So it's
a real walk in the park. Yes.
one way to put it, Cindy.
I was just telling Kevin, it's like, we should not be doing sidewalks anymore. Any projects that require a sidewalk, we should.
We're used to doing rural roads.
Yeah.
We don't do urban roads.
Well, Kevin was just pointing out a couple, because I don't recall doing sidewalks, but he said that we've done a couple.
Cascade Valley?
Yep.
I don't even know when the Cascade Valley was done.
I don't either.
Probably been, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. More. You know, time flies by when you're having fun, so it's been a while.
Also UGA, also urban environment. Yeah, it's just is what it is.
Any other questions?
This,
Oh, the truck one.
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on that?
My recommendation is not to accept it. By accepting it, we've agreed to it, if you will. And it is a paltry amount. So it is best to leave the tort in place, the tort claim in place.
Do we have funding for that bridge?
Yes,
247 is funded.
Fully funded by the state?
yes, both federal and state sources fully funded. However, at the time that we first went out with that tort, there was no guarantees that we were going to get that funding. And in fact, demoing that bridge early like that put us in a risky spot.
It
But-
jeopardized the grant.
But things, fortunately, WashDOT worked with us, and I think actually they just turned a blind eye to it. So
For the bridge to be
we are set now.
So it's not like we're gonna be out a bunch
Correct,
because of that.
correct.
I believe what happens, irrigation district promised somebody water, so they had to increase the size of the canal to get
Oh,
the
yeah.
water to,
Right.
I mean, it was we have to do it.
But they're the ones that removed the rest of the bridge, right? On their
So
dime.
what they did, what we're claiming is the cost that we incurred because they knocked it down. They got it all out of the canal. Our bridge crew went out and dismantled both spans and they broke 5 or 6 girders, but they salvaged the rest of the girders. We took care of all that once it was drug out of the canal. That's what we're trying to get back. Because had they not hit it, all that dismantling would have been included in the grant.
In the grant, that's
Those
the
girders
key.
would have been taken apart by the contractor and delivered where we asked them to deliver them to.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to recover. You knocking it down caused us to work to dismantle it.
We had to, and what they're saying is, oh, it had to be done anyways. Well, there's a difference. We cannot bill for that work done before the grant date. So there's a grant eligibility date, and we had to support the demo of the bridge early, so we can't bill for it.
We
And
agreed
that's
to
the
remove
issue.
the one span so they could widen the canal.
Sure.
That's not part of this. We agreed to do that for them. This came because you knocked it over.
So that makes more sense. So it's not fully funded.
Correct. Well, that portion of the work done early, because there's a specific date, I can't remember the date, but there's a date when any work after that, like the work we do now, is eligible. Anything earlier, which included the demo of the bridge, we can't bill for. So that's why we're saying, hey, we're out money that we could have billed for, but we can't. But we don't have to address
I guess
it
what
yet.
their argument really is by their letter is that we could have left all of that sitting on their ditch bank until we did get eligible grant money to then go in and tear it apart and put it towards this, is what they're saying.
Make it part of the contract. anyway.
Yeah, then we could have left it, because they didn't tell us we had to remove it, we chose to go remove it, is what they're saying. But you chose to knock it down too, so.
Well,
It's an accident.
based on where it was at, you couldn't just leave it laying there. I mean, I don't think. you
It
can
would have floated down the canal. If it was critically damaged, the bridge, after they had their accident. They backed into it. It was critically damaged. There's a good chance that it would have flopped into the water
Oh,
and then floated down and hit the next bridge, our next bridge, and damaged that. Because it's a wood deck, that's why it would have floated.
Well, not only that, you could drive out on it.
True, it's a hazard.
I mean, it's
You're right.
a safety thing, so. You just need to write the check.
Yeah.
Take responsibility for what they did.
Well, it's, when we get to 248, I want to remember those because they have not been good partners in this, in my opinion. So, yeah, and that's the next one down.
Widen their canal to deliver more water to make more money. And we ought to remember this when they do.
And they really did jeopardize the funding for 247. So, it's, yeah.
So they get to pay for the next bridge then?
Perfect.
Well, probably,
Is there, from Bridge 248, is there a lot of traffic that goes through, or is it just limited traffic? This is the hard part too, where I get that when you bought that farm, there was a bridge, but it's a lot of money for a 4 or 5 mile detour.
Yeah,
You know, it's kind of like, we really need to look at this. Is this the best use of,
that's what I was trying to figure out,
Funding.
because
or
there's
state,
really not a lot of
state or
acres to use
federal?
that bridge.
No, it's one farm.
I mean, so.
and they have no other way of accessing besides that bridge.
For 247 or
248.
248.
248, so they.
Don't forget the bridge didn't need to come out.
That is true. It's an elective removal. You are right.
Yeah,
But I thought it needed to come out for the widening.
Yes.
it did, but that benefited the irrigation district, not the county.
Well,
That benefited the irrigation and state electeds. That didn't have anything to do with Grant County. It didn't benefit Grant County at all. Even the widening didn't benefit Grant County.
So,
I agree.
and it's, I haven't looked at 248, but if it's like 247, it will include plans for widening the bridge that's there to the, because they planned it to be wider than the canals are. So 247 had an extra span that was included in the plans. And I suspect 248 is probably the same way. So, you know, because it only serves one driveway, maybe that's a much cheaper option. They're not gonna, irrigation district's not gonna like it because the elevation is lower than they would like. But that's-
My recommendation again is not to accept that offer, just to let it sit on the table. Just table, have the claim continue. And I suspect that we might settle up when we get close to Bridge 247, because, sorry, 248, thank you. When 247 is complete and funding starts happening for 248, and to grease the wheels then, we might need to settle up then. Or yes, there's things that we can do that we can trade and that are not cash, if you will.
Possible alternatives. We'll keep you posted.
Oh, this is just, yeah.
The 202 piers he's talking about, that damage when they went in and they put, I think there's 5 of them, and they're driven in on micro piles, then they cast the line canal around the concrete piers. Part of the agreement was for us to remove that down below the face of the concrete lining. So they're not hurting anything, they're at the very top of the ditch. They're structural, they held up the girders while it was being repaired. And so maybe we could trade that for the cost we would have incurred trying to remove those temporary piers. Is what we're kind of thinking. That was Dave's idea on the way down here, so we haven't explored it yet.
Maybe we can trade.
Yeah. So we haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Cross that bridge when it comes. Well, that's a good, sometimes trading works
I'm
out
sure
better
we'll
than.
be crossing it sometime.
You know? No, that alternative, I would be happy with that.
And this 248 will be our last bridge then all the other bridges are in out of the county, which they received funding for, which is so bizarre that Grant County, well, we've had to really fight for our funding to get it.
I think this was years ago, but when it started, I thought Adams had 7 or 9 or something that were affected. So we did have a lot more than that. And some of our structures were relatively new that were affected. So maybe that's why they got a few funded quicker, more of them. But the thing is, if you don't do ours first, you can't reach them.
That's what we said. It's kind of pointless because you can't
So,
fight.
okay, well, that's all we have. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, it looks like our engineer, we still have not found an engineer.
No.
It was posted on Proceedings, last week, so, HR got it posted. We did a couple weeks and then we're gonna pay the.
Is our salary competitive? Dave, is it? Dave did not. I feel like we have an engineer shortage, and so whenever there's a shortage of something.
It's supply and demand.
Okay.
It's supply and demand. It's true.
Well, I'm basing we paid close, Cat went to engineer training and they were discussing salaries. And we do pay what they were discussing.
Okay, within that range.
But, there is a lot less on the east side, so it may be something we have to address. But that's why John and I shook our heads, is according to Crab, we are right there. We're competing with west side, so.
That's the problem. Getting people to move and leave their 3% interest house to come and get a new house somewhere else. It's tough.
Housing anymore.
And if they're already making that amount of money there, why move? Yeah.
So,
Cheaper to live here.
It is.
And we have more.
for now,
It's beautiful here.
Anyway,
I
okay,
tried
well,
to through the washout engineer and she told me it is way too hot. There's no chance I'll move over
Just a few days out of the year.
well, it is 9:30. We are done with our public works update, and we will move into our facilities and maintenance update. We'll transition right now.
Gross, not the sheriff. You don't gotta follow the stars, right? I left you a voicemail. Okay.
And Dave, it's good to see you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Getting things done as much as we can.
Yeah, move the afternoons, about 3 o'clock on Wednesday. You guys
Just look at my email.
I can't do it.
Hanging in there.
I hear you.
Thank you. And Rob is online.
All right.
I knew it was just gonna be a Diet Coke for morning here, so I thought I'd see if I can get one. Welcome, Tom.
All
and
righty.
others.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Keith. So I was just telling Joe, you guys end up going over, that's up to the BOCC. I have a 10 o'clock. Actually, Kevin and I both have a 10 o'clock we can't be late for. So I'll start with facilities and then turn it over to Kevin. So we're planning on adding card key access, like we have everywhere else for the CS and HR building. We'll be utilizing the same vendor that we've used for the entire courthouse, which is proprietary. The cost for this is about $22,000, and we didn't have it in the original bid. It wasn't part of the project, but we have leftover capital funds from other projects we can use to pay for it. I know that the budget is really tight on this building. We have some money coming from DHP that we're applying towards it, and I'm hoping not to do a budget extension. So the funding for this we do have that won't affect that budget extension, but and we have it with other capital funds. So if the commissioners are okay with that, we can do a letter memorializing that and send it to you next week. That way we can, because they're done with framing, we're getting low voltage in there, and we have to get in there now to get the wiring done. So it just took a while to get the pricing from Convergent. So if that's okay, we'll do it that way.
So quick question, did they dig up this, did we have concrete or asphalt?
It was
in
all
that?
asphalt.
We had to dig up the back.
Yeah, there's a number of things. I mean, we've done all the value engineering we can do. to try and save money on that building. You'll know we couldn't find the matching block, so some of the block doesn't match. But once it's all painted, I don't think it'll be quite as noticeable. The flood proofing is in, and it goes one course above grade, and they've got that cinder block in, and it's parged on top. It's I don't know if you've had a chance to go over and look at that, but it looks better than I expected it to. But we're meeting the requirements of the city.
Okay, that's why, for the flood proofing.
Yeah, for the
Okay.
flood proofing. So there's some differences there, but it's coming along well. And we had a meeting last week with the key players, with HR, Kevin Blair, about furniture, making sure everybody was getting what they needed there. So we'll do that. So you can do that letter next week. At the fairgrounds, the new hood that's being installed in the old Greek Euros booth is on hold. The vendor saw that we were going to have to modify a truss in the food booth, and he refused to go on with the work unless we had an engineer look at it. Chris asked our building official to go out and take a look at it, and he said, yeah, you're going to have an engineer look at that. But now Jerry is going to go out there. Jerry Bissett is going to go out there and look at that today. But I've tasked Chris with talking to a local engineer there in Moses Lake off of Broadway. They'll look at these trusses and say if we have to do. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but we might have to modify it a certain way. Might have to get an engineer's stamp on it. So it's on hold, but we'll make sure that it's the structural integrity isn't compromised. And that's what I have going on facilities wise. At 10 o'clock, we have a meeting with Custom Energy Consultants to go over the ASHRAE 2 level audit that we did and the findings and the recommendations for all of our energy savings here at all of our buildings. So go ahead, Kevin.
All right, so a lot of exciting things going on, lots of fun in the county. One of the existing projects that we continue to work on is Wheeler Road and the move for youth services over to there. They had some requests for glass work. We do have Skog Brothers looking at the lobby window for Tammy Roloff's office. They're getting a quote over for that. It should be about $400 or $500 to pull that out, frame another piece of glass back in. It was reported that it was warm in there, so we spent a few hours over there checking the HVAC system over. In the area where the offices are, the airflows are correct. The thermostat and the AC unit is working correctly. So the guys adjusted the set point on the thermostats up and down and confirmed it was cooling and warming. And when they actually set it to 70 degrees, everybody got cold and wanted it back up. So everything's working good there. We did adjust airflow into the what they call the classroom now, which is on the district court side. The damper was closed there, so we opened that up to get more airflow there and make it more comfortable. So they talked about a sign that they were looking for, and so when talking to Scott from Youth Services, he was kind of unaware of what that was. He got with the group, figured out what it was, and put in a work request for it. They were looking for a sign on the door. So we went out to signs now. Actually have not yet. We're waiting for approval on the sign design. We have 2 designs that we put together and provided to them for approval. And once they approve it, we'll go out and get costs for it. And then we'll do more or less a window cling, kind of like we did with Veterans Administration above. So we can put it on there. It looks just like a decal, but if it ever moves, you just peel it off and away you go. So moving forward on that as well. Working with Meyer Engineering on the exterior windows. So as soon as we can get them down here, I've sent information up to them as much as we can, mostly just pictures because there's no as-builts of that building. We'll get them in here. As long as we're doing windows for them, we figured when you kind of walk through the building and you see you're doing all these projects for the YS group, and then you see the WSU group kind of sitting there looking like, what about us? So we'll look at cutting windows into some other offices down there to open it up and brighten it up for everybody. So more to come on that once we get information from the engineering group at Meyer. Veterans Administration, I think we're pretty much done there. We did finish up some furniture for them. It's getting ordered. It has been ordered, so we'll see that probably in about 6 weeks. In the meantime, we've moved some things around that they wanted to because obviously they were on the one end of the building. So we're taking refrigerators, kind of their break room stuff, moving it into the other side, desks, things of that nature, and getting it all situated so they're functional. They were going to have a person, an additional person start last week. So we had furniture in there to make sure they had a workspace and they were ready to go. So should be just about to the end on the Veterans Administration building. Just like Tom mentioned earlier, the Clean Buildings Act, we're spending time on that, getting together work orders, PMs, assets, providing that information to the consultant so he can take a look at what we're doing with our practices and how we're maintaining our buildings. And yeah, we'll find out how we're doing, I guess, in a little bit on that.
You know, and to piggyback on that a little bit, yesterday, Kevin and I had a meeting with a company called, I'm gonna screw it up. Model, thank you, Model. So we had a capital forecasting program called Capital Forecast through originally Facility Dude, then Dude Solutions, then Brightly. They stopped supporting that product. We've been looking for a product that would replace it, and we think we may have found one. They're based out of Australia. They're a recent startup, but it does everything we need it to do. And because it's a startup, it's pretty inexpensive, and it's all cloud-based. It's so we don't have to host it on-prem, which is nice.
Cool.
What's the name of it, Model?
Modelve, Modelve, yeah. The other nice thing about it is they're
Alcoholic beverage, 'cause
Oh.
isn't there
they're fairly open source, so and you can import data really with Excel files that are comma separated. Thank you. So they'll import data out of Limble. And they'll be able to import our previous data from our previous facilities condition assessments, and as we go forward in 2026, we will have a new capital forecasting. This really helps us with our asset management, our ability to forecast our capital needs and inform the board as to those costs. So that's coming.
Other things we're working on, so Renew, getting information over on the lobby remodel and the building refresh for the main facility. Working with the engineering group on that, and that was Integris who was selected out of that. So of the, so we put out that request for qualifications for on-call architectural and engineering services. And we had 6 people respond, 6 firms respond to us, and so far 3 have been engaged in 2 projects already. So that whole thing is paying off. So we've got Integris, Kaufman, and Meyer all engaged in projects already to help with these types of projects that we have out there. And obvious sounds, maybe number 4 could be out there if they can find somebody in Moses Lake to help. So a lot going on there. The crisis solutions building is in phase 2 of the flooring replacement. So that is the warranty work on the flooring that was put in there in 2000. It's getting replaced. And phase 2 actually should be done by now. And then we'll be scheduling phase 3 to finish that up. Working on the other big projects like the jail and the dentist office, or 21 C Street Southwest is the address. But yeah, reviewing construction, electrical, keying, all those types of things that go into it, things they have requests for information on. So there's work going on there. We also have Sage and Sun coming up this weekend, so we're prepped for that. We got layouts and details on what they want, where they're going to put things. So
Cheap for a day.
And Cheap for a Day is coming up Thursday as well. So we've got a couple events on the grounds this week. So we're going to work on getting that all polished up around here, roses trimmed, things like that, grass mowed, get it all set up. So
CenturyLink's meeting me out here to fix that telecom pedestal.
nice. That'll be good. Other than that, we reviewed the policies that were sent by HR for access control, keying, and I forget the other ones, and gave comments back on that. The museum sign, you saw the consent item for that last week. We got it back. The sign guy came back, and because the location moved, he wanted to change things, but we had to kick it back at him and say, no, we got to go forward with what we have. It'll still be above the fence. I think what he was looking at is that when you go down to the museum now, the bushes and everything have grown up taller, and they've got above the fence, they're taller than the fence. So we need to just go through and get them back, clipped down to where they're supposed to be, and then our sign will be back above those things. So work going on there as well. Personnel items that we have going on. So our landscaper is going on being here 6 months. So we're getting him situated and getting them going in the right direction. The person filling the open maintenance 4 position will start on June 16th. His name is Kyle Brown. So he will start next Monday. And Jeff Hughes has been in the site supervisor position for 7 months with Renew. So you see them guys around, say hello and congratulations. That's my quick download. If you have any questions for me.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Rob, do you have any questions for Kevin or I on?
Nope, no questions. Thank you for getting the stuff done at Youth Services.
You bet, you bet. Moving on to GCTS, I'll start out. So President Trump has signed an executive order that a lot of people are still working to understand the implications of. Its title is Sustaining Select Efforts to Strengthen the Nation's Cybersecurity and amending executive orders 13694 and 14144, which were both signed by Joe Biden. Of note is the following sentence, which makes your brain hurt. Post-quantum cryptography. The order sets deadlines for transitioning to post-quantum cryptography to protect against future quantum computing threats. The potential impact on that is that government agencies, specifically local government agencies, will need to adapt to new cybersecurity guidelines, update their systems for post-quantum cryptography, and integrate AI security measures. The Office of Management and Budget and the National Institute of Standards and Technology will play central roles in implementing these changes. Now, these changes are expected to be implemented immediately at the federal level. But I believe what I've been able to find downstream, people like us, we have to be ready for adaptation by 2027. So it's coming, and I just don't even want to think about post-quantum cryptography.
What does that mean to you?
You know what that means?
Well, it's crypto.
So anyway, I think a lot of this is aimed at threat actors. You know, as a matter of fact, I sent GCTS an email this morning. I was making my brain hurt reading against the Salt Typhoon hack that apparently is continuing to be wider than people thought it was. And with Comcast now admitting that, yeah, the Chinese have been operating in our network pretty much continuously. So this addresses that. It addresses other major threats by state actors and things like that. So, but obviously, we're a county. We hold elections. We have to worry about state actors the same as any other county. So we'll keep an eye on this.
Like they do in Egypt, you get a little piece of paper, you walk in a room, you write on the paper.
We can go back to paper ballots, right?
Yeah,
So,
blue ink out the door, you're good to go.
anyway, with that, I will pass it to Graham.
I got a few things here, so I'll try and get through everything. So the data center power upgrade, we performed that on Friday the 30th. John, Keith, Luke, and myself stayed for doing that. To upgrade the PDUs in the server racks, we switched from 110 to 208 volt. We ended up losing 2 hard drives at some point during the transition. We shut stuff off. They just decided they didn't want to turn back on. So we got spares ordered for those. So they're on their way.
Received and installed already.
Oh, let's see. That's so long ago now. During the middle of that weekend, the virtual machines all shifted to one host, causing major lag on Monday morning. That was not something we were anticipating. We felt really good about being stumped because when we called Ednetics for support on Monday morning, they're like, we don't know why this did this, and you did everything right. And they were just as befuddled as we were. However, we know we have to do more stuff in those cabinets. We're gonna be swapping out some network cabling. We're gonna be adding some switches next year. So we want to try and get ready for that. We're gonna have to go through this whole process again. We're going to spend more time over that weekend making sure that things don't fail back into one host again. So we don't have a crappy Monday morning. So trying to avoid those. Ednetics is merged with a company called MGT. We're not sure what this means yet. We're being told that there's no changes to expect. Time will tell.
That's what Brightly said.
Yeah, MGT is based out of Florida. So MGT is also a K-12 government managed service provider like Ednetics. I think they're just buying customers on the West Coast. So that was the whole goal behind it. Laptop issues in both. Have some, but not all. 13th and 14th gen Core i7 and i9 processors and laptops have been having performance issues, severe performance issues. Tom is a victim of this. We're working with CDW and Lenovo right now to come up with a resolution. I think the last thing I saw was they have a utility they want us to run on them for some test results. So the guys have been working on that. We have a new account rep with CDW, and he has been like super on the spot with everything lately. It's been really cool. So that's in process. Testing with Mac. So Mac wants us to test some DeGiro aggregation gateways in a couple of the patrol cars. These are multiple SIM cellular routers and have the ability for satellite input as well. The idea being that they will fail over when a particular signal doesn't work. I personally have doubts about their effectiveness, as all carriers share the exact same cell towers. And if you can't talk to one carrier, you can't talk to the other carrier. So whatever. So we're going to do that because I want to just prove the point to them and just be done with it. At the sheriff's request, we also prepared one of the Toughbook laptops for Mac to test 365 labs with. As deputies have hit the phase of don't make us touch it ever again, please. And they are ceasing to be cooperative with Mac in testing. So we're just going to help drive a nail in that coffin as well. So yesterday, the sheriff and I met with Thurston County Sheriff's Office to talk about 365 labs. We explained to them what an unmitigated disaster it has been. By the end of the conversation, they had wished they had not signed an agreement with 365 labs. I advised them to have their attorney to look through their agreement for an exit plan, and they were going to do exactly that. So Grant County is now live on M365 G3. It is now June, so we're good to go. I believe Seth ran a script that moved everyone off of O365 over to M365, so that I believe is done. We're also spooling up a new remote access application called Rust Desk for replacing TeamViewer. Rust is 1/12 the cost of TeamViewer. We're also continuing to move into Snipe IT. It's a replacement for Quartermaster. It's our asset management system. Snipe IT is free. So we have a server here, and it has really, really cool features in it. It does software asset tracking, which is something I tasked Keith with a long time ago, and he's eager to get that implemented. It also has really cool things that when people, individuals get things checked out to them, it will send them an email to kind of like, hey, you are now in possession of this. So it gives us better tracking and control of laptops and things. Projectors, you know, whatever, right? So, that was kind of a cool part to it. It also gives visibility for the different department heads to look into their inventory for their stuff, so they can just review it directly. And
then I know when I misplace my own projector.
And the nice thing about this too is because we will be hosting it and it will be here, it will be available for Public Works and Renewed to track their assets as well. So that one was out of the park. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Tom, because that was a direct result of NACO. That was something that Keith found from NACO, so we're looking forward to that. Everyone but Jeremy.
NACO's pretty awesome.
He's a little dejected. He's kind of grown to like quartermaster, so we're trying to,
Doesn't want to learn something new.
we're trying to drag him along, so, but he's gonna come.
Changes opportunity, right?
Changes opportunity, right?
Yes, we force new stuff on everybody. You need to have it forced on him too.
Yeah.
Even worse on us, right?
So, a thing that happened, Read.ai. You guys may have seen the emails concerning the AI application called Read AI last week. How it works, someone with Read AI attends a Teams meeting. Read AI captures information about the attendees of that meeting. It takes a list of those attendees and sends them an invitation to sign up for the service so that you can read the notes for the meeting. You sign up for the service. When you do that, you give it access to your Outlook calendar. It then sees every meeting you have and attends those meetings without asking you. It's a very intelligent and aggressive propagation method. I had to tip my hat, just like, well played. But it's evil, so we don't like it.
That's why we're working on AI policy.
So we have established limitations within Microsoft Teams that require explicit permission from technology services to allow this and applications like it to attend Teams meetings from now on. We'll be looking into similar controls for Zoom as well. So
That's why almost anytime you get into a Teams meeting now, you see Read AI pop up, and whoever the host of the meeting is like, I don't know how that got there.
well, it's not even the host.
I know.
It's not even the host. It's anyone who has AI, Read AI, that attends the meeting.
Yep.
Read AI just does it.
Yeah.
They don't ask the person.
No, I know, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
but the host is sitting there saying,
Yeah.
I have no idea how that,
Yeah.
you know.
We only got pushback from one person.
And even if you miss the meeting, you don't attend personally, it will attend on behalf of you and still do it.
Agentic AI, I
Yes.
believe is what that's called.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Evil.
It's not technically a bad service, but the way that it aggressively spreads and
It'll make
takes over
decisions
everything.
for you without you knowing.
Yeah.
well, and the concern is there's information that gets communicated in some of these meetings that's privileged information. There are things that have sensitive, anything with Renew, that's all medical, that's HIPAA. So you're talking law enforcement, you have things that happen there. The courts, if it just, I can't even imagine all the things that you just like, no, that doesn't.
You're gonna make your brain hurt.
Yeah, so we're trying to put a stop to that as best as we can, outside of convincing people to stop using it. And like I said, we have pushback from one person. It was an elected. I'm trying to figure out how to respond to her.
No, I can if you need me to.
No, it's just, I want to word it right, and we want to give this individual an option outside of Read AI so that they don't feel like they're missing out on the things. And I think there's a solution, so, but we're not allowing Read AI.
Okay, just FYI, it's 9:55, I know we're supposed to be done right at 10.
Okay, I'm getting closing in right here, so. So email and web stats, email, we had 95,000 total emails in the last 2 weeks, 13,000 were blocked quarantine, and 9 of those were virus emails. So, yeah.
That's an uptick.
That's a serious uptick, very serious uptick. For web and umbrella, we blocked 26,000 websites out of the 52 million accessed. 76 blocks were categorized as security related. Of those, most were linked to phishing and malware. Malware, phishing, and viruses are all up across the board. Our shields are holding, as John put it. So,
And since we got 4 minutes left, really quick, our help desk tickets in the last 14 days, we've had 194 created. 134 of those have been closed, 60 remaining open. Our leading ticket closer right now is Seth, followed by Evan, and Jeremy's in third. Once again, HR is at the top of the list, which I keep saying it, we love it. Outside of help desk information, we've started Laserfish migration. We're moving to from our VMware host virtualization platform to Hyper-V. And so that's going to take quite a bit of work over the next few months, getting all this stuff done and done well. To touch on a couple of things with our migration to Snipe IT, we've also decided that we're going to be doing a physical inventory And Jeremy's going to be reaching out to the departments and offices to let them know that IT staff is going to be on hand to look at things.
And he's already started by that.
Yep. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
So on the,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
so Keith mentioned some hardware stuff that we're working on. We have devices, our storage arrays and our servers that run our compute cluster. They're all coming up due for replacement next year. We're working with CDW and Adnetics right now to identify those devices ahead of time, so that we can get you the numbers for budget, so that they're part of quad, so that we can order them second or third week of December, so that they are here in January, so that we can have them implemented as quickly as possible. And I just wanted to give you heads up on that, so please approve our budget.
Kind of important to the county.
We'll get there, Joe. We'll get there.
Just,
Any questions for GCTS?
No, it was a please.
No, I think we're good.
Rob?
Any questions? Rob was on, you got off.
Last thing, Rob knows this because he emailed me for an update, so I failed to update the two of you yesterday. I do have a noon WebEx today with the new grant administrator for the justice grants on the single point of entry. So Desiree and I are attending that at noon. Yeah, at least this person didn't say we can only have a meeting when I'm not at work. So
Here's my number.
your Department of Justice at work. Anyway.
Just on a side note for Kevin,
9:58, we are in recess until 10 o'clock.
my wife was at, had to.
Good afternoon. It is 10:02. We are with HR for our weekly update. Welcome, HR.
Thank you. Should we ask for public comment?
Yep, is there any public comment for HR related items? Caitlin, do we have any callers?
You have no call-in users.
It doesn't appear that we have anybody in the room that I can see, so we are moving to labor relations.
Okay, so we don't have any labor relation items to address today. Number 3, employee evaluation. We're going to skip that one until Commissioner Jones can come online. So that will take us down to position management. I have 4 PARs to be signed. And they are public defense, the new wage rates that the board approved. Who wants to sign first? Yep.
Okay.
The board had approved that about a month ago, about.
Good question. I just looked. Yes, it was, I want to say end of April.
Yeah. What's you guys thinking? And just as a memory, that is, or to update your memory, that is the new wage structure with the PA's office and public defense. Accounting for that, those PARs. Public or PA's office will hopefully be here next week for your signatures. Next item, under position management, the reclassification for the HR specialist position was heard yesterday in PMRT. Is the board prepared to make a decision?
I'm just Googling the salary range, and it's kind of an interesting situation, how that went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, So I'm looking at some of the salaries that go through, and it appears that the salary would be a little on the higher side to the $42. Is that correct? So I'm looking at some of them, like the average is 55,000.
So you have to remember that she was a consultant and that she would still continue to do consultant work along with the specialty of the more specialized. So he titled the position an HR specialist, which is typically in the progression of a career would be an HR specialist or generalist and then a consultant. So she is doing consultant work and it's more specialized around her topics. So around the programs, FMLA, PFML, onboarding, recruitment.
Okay, so we can really have a decent discussion. Let's go
into executive
session.
Okay.
We'll do 10 minutes. So 10:07 to 10:17. And hopefully Rob, Caitlin, can you see if Rob goes on board, jumps in?
He was unsure when he would be able to attend.
Commissioners, I apologize. We need Cindy to call the RCW for this executive session.
Applicant evaluation, Caitlin, I'm really sorry. RCW 4231.10.1G. We are out of executive session. No decision was made.
Okay. Is the board prepared to make a decision on that position?
Yes.
Okay. Are you prepared to sign a PAR for that position today?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, second. Thank you. Rob, would you like to third?
Normally we just sign, but I'm in support of it.
Thank you. Okay, the other position I'll do quick, and that is the peer support specialist from Renew. They're asking 2 FTEs. One was a peer. The other one, which I was not aware of yesterday, was
not quite sure what
was the DCR.
I'm trying to get these guys connected.
Caitlin, can you hear us okay?
Can hear you, yes, but the dais camera is not on, so we are only seeing Decorah, Gina, and Blair. We cannot see the commissioners.
That's totally okay. Not having a great hair day. Okay, yes, I'm prepared to sign those as well.
Okay. Well, I don't have the PARs, but I just need to know if the board is going to approve or needs more information from the department for Renew.
I am fine with the information that was provided.
Okay.
I did have to seek clarification yesterday. I was a little confused, but got it now. Rob, Kevin?
Yes, ma'am.
Rob, are you a yes for the 2 positions for Renew?
I don't have my paper and I'm in support of it, but I don't remember what I thought.
Peer support specialist and
DCR.
DCR.
Grant funded, 3 years.
Okay. I think the HR concerns were the same as mine were for the most part of when the grant runs out, then what? But yes.
Okay, and now we'll go in back to item 3. Employee evaluation.
Yeah.
We can go into a minute executive sessions.
Another little sheet.
I will have to jump off again probably, just so you guys know.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Start with that. Okay, so we'll have an executive session from 10:20 to 10:30.
Cindy, could you call the RCW, please?
I'm sorry, it will be disciplinary. Let me make sure.
Employee evaluation.
Employee evaluation, RCW 4231.10.1G. Thank you.
Here we go.
It is 10:30. We are out of executive session. No decision was made.
Item 6, I don't have anything today under budget, finance, compensation. Item 7, recruitment, just give you an update. County administrator, we have 8 candidates. I have reviewed them. I think there are a couple that are viable. Do you want to see all 8 at this time, or do you want HR to narrow it down?
I think I'd like to see all 8, just
Okay.
to see what we've got.
Kevin?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So go ahead and send it to Rob too as well.
Yep, I will
Okay.
put packets together and get them to you. Do you want them email or do you want them?
No.
Okay.
Are you okay, email?
Okay, I will do that.
Works for me.
And county engineer, we don't have any viable. We've had a couple applicants, but they weren't qualified.
John Brissy and Andy thought that we were within. Kat went to a Public Works, what do you call it? Kind of like we have,
Conference or something.
yeah, anyway, it sounded like it was within range, and I'm asking, is our salary competitive?
Mhm.
And they kind of nodded yes, and Dave's, but kind of supply and demand if we are in short supply in Eastern Washington. I don't know what to. 'Cause we kinda
Yeah, and
been trying-
Jonathan is running comps, and from the ones he's collected so far, we're
We're
right
right in
in,
the game.
right in there.
Mhm.
He also did comps for assistant director and, assistant engineer, and that band 20, which is what it was, is comparable. So Andy had asked that it be reclassified down with no supervision, but what we have found is that all assistant engineers do have supervisory duties, so that may be a reconsideration
Okay.
that the department may want to do. I've also heard conversation about having that person having second person have a PE as well. Now, whether or not you can get that, again, having one PE is better than having none. Yeah.
But yeah, we have a lot of state and federal jobs that are, basically, we won't be able to go seek those reimbursables if we don't, it just really
Yeah.
stops our growth and our
Yeah,
and funding that comes in. So Dave's been really aggressive at getting some funding.
yeah. Challenge. So we'll continue to recruit, and we'll give Prothman, I think it's on there till the end of the month, but if we need to step up, of course, we'd come back the recruiting process and have them kind of do more head hunting. We'll come back with the cost to the board for that and let you know.
That engineer is kind of like our assessors and our treasurer's office in the county. Without them, we just can't go out and do jobs and collect. So
Okay, well, that's what I have for you today. Do you have anything for us?
Pretty well covered it.
Sounds good.
let me look at my little notes here. I think my only question, we wanted to make sure that you knew in accounting. Mandy was supposed to reach out to you because she had just, before she came to visit us, found out that Aaron was leaving. You got that?
Yes.
On June 20th, and she didn't know if she could reach out to see some of the applicants that Public Works had, or anyway, they're just work it out with HR.
Yep.
I assume you guys are gonna do an exit interview with her as well?
Yes, Jonathan is scheduling an exit interview, and we'll work with the department to get the position posted.
All right, well, if that is it, it is 10:34. We are in recess until 11 o'clock when we meet with the coroner's office. Good morning, it is 11:01. We are here for our coroner's update. It appears that our coroner is not here. Caitlin, is he online, our coroner?
He is not online. I will give him a call.
Let me just open the door. He could be busy.
Got a few things happening over the weekend.
Craig is out this week, or he's out today. So they have asked if we could cancel this update.
Okay, it's 11:02. We are canceling the coroner's update due to the coroner being out of the office today. So we will resume. We will come out of recess at 11:15 when we have a mailroom update. Good morning, it's 11:15. We are here for a mailroom update. Welcome.
Hello.
How's everything going up there upstairs?
Same as always, really. It's just, just hanging out.
This is the best ever.
Yeah.
How was the transition from the mailroom and then working with TS?
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. Recently, I've just been working through billing for the mailroom while they figure out what to do with me. So.
Okay. Because they said they had some. Was there some training you had to do or some get clearance? Okay.
Yeah. So, been working my way through that stuff.
Fun stuff.
All the fun stuff, before you get to do all the other fun stuff.
Yeah, the others sitting there wait for your computer to reboot, restart. But at least you'll probably have, I think they have it on their lab more than once. So
yeah.
You're not waiting for one computer when they're all ready, they're all ready.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is there anything that we as commissioners can do to help you out?
Nothing really. I don't have any complaints. Nothing crazy going on. So.
Are the mail delivery, you're not getting any straight, large boxes or parcels?
The Amazon guy keeps delivering stuff to my office. He'll come up and drop off packages if he can't find someone. Like right now, I have one that was returned, but it's not for us. And I was like, this isn't mine. They're like, well, you're the return address. I was like, that makes no sense. But okay. But the Amazon guy, he delivers packages sometimes, which is new. I was like, okay, well, I'll take them because I know where they go, but
okay.
The office numbers are on the packages, so.
Oh, just a one-stop shopping. Okay, or one drop.
Yeah.
And are they county or personal?
They're county.
Okay.
Because they all have office numbers, so.
We did have an issue with a lot of personal mailboxes or Amazon packages, right around the holidays too, that would get dropped off here. And some were even dog food they were just, so they get stolen off their porch. And then like, hey, we can't have our employees packing your dog food. So it is just checking on that because it was an issue before.
Yeah. No, he just comes up every once in a while, and when he can't find an office, he's like, hey, do you know where it goes? I'm like, yeah, I'll take it, I guess. Can you sign for it? I'm like, no, I'm not going to sign for it, but you can write my name down.
Yeah, and Tom was talked about a central drop for like UPS packages and things like that. So there is, where it's just one drop and then, I don't know if they come get it or we deliver it. I don't know, but he has talked about doing that in central.
Just trying to get them
location.
so that they're not coming through the driveway out here.
Well, they would probably like one drop too. Up and go.
Yeah. Well, at one point, they did just drop off a bunch of packages at my office door, and I came back from lunch. I was like, what's this doing here? Like, okay, I'll take them, I guess. So I haul them in. I was like, you guys are at the wrong office, like, entirely. But okay, So just hand them out. No, it's not a big issue. It's not really a problem to me, but it's just more annoying that they keep coming up.
So maybe, okay. I know Tom has talked about that, so probably we need to bring it up on our next visit with Tom. Maybe do a consolidation or something. Okay, anything else?
No, nothing really.
All right.
Outside of that.
Mail just keeps coming in, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of slowed down now because there isn't anything big going on. So I'm just getting like nothing really.
Little things.
Well, that's good. Don't complain. Don't complain.
Well, I'm not complaining, but I know that there's something
It's coming.
coming up.
It's
Yeah. So.
Enjoy the slow time.
Oh yeah. Billing will go out, I think, Thursday or Friday. Kind of depends on how far I get into that. So should get all of that stuff, well, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. So, that'll be fun. That's it. That's all I got. So.
All right.
All right. Well, it's 11:20. We are in recess. Good morning. It is 11:30. We are here with Brett Hill for an employee evaluation. We will go into executive session for the entire time since it's just an evaluation. It will be RCW 4231.10(1)G. We will not be making a decision, so there will be no need to come out of executive session until the end of the time.
Okay, the executive session is now over. It is 12:04 p.m. The commissioners called it to end at 12 o'clock.
Good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. We are here for the clerk's update.
You have to do that again because he wasn't fully.
We're on video.
Good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. We are here for the clerk's update. Sorry, Rob, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
It was not important information.
Well, it is for Kevin and I. Morning, Kim. We are already started, so just an FYI.
Got here just in time.
And Rob is online and should be joining us, I believe, shortly. And
I see his picture.
yep. How's it going, Kim?
The only updates are, well, one update and some questions. The first update is, I don't know if what HR tells you, but I did have to terminate an employee, so we currently have a position open.
We did not get that information, so.
Oh.
We didn't get that in our update.
There you go.
Maybe they were waiting for you to come in to tell us.
They wanted to give me something to talk about.
Yeah, there you go. They want to steal your thunder.
Yeah.
You'll be
and then
hiring.
I will be rehiring, yeah. Very,
Did this just happen recently?
a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And then I was gonna ask, I hadn't heard anything about the employee barbecue. Are we doing an employee barbecue? Are we doing
The last
something?
2 years, we've done it in October.
Is that
So
the
I think
plan?
it was October, November. I'm assuming that's the plan.
Okay.
Or we haven't.
Barb, I think we have a tentative date, don't we? Or am I mixing up last year's plan with this year?
I don't recall talking about a date as of yet.
I thought we talked about it when we were doing the budget planning. Sorry.
So we may have a date.
Let me know.
And I think our budget, I think there's been some budget discussion. Our budget will be pushed back instead of October. It'll be done in November.
Oh.
I think.
We do have it on the schedule and the board just needs to make them.
Oh, apparently it's already there. Let me look.
It should be on the calendar. First 2 weeks of November.
I did.
And then I was just curious about the county administrator position. I saw that it's advertised. First I had heard about that was at our elected official department head lunch.
We're just waiting for the list of people.
Apparently we have some applicants. We yes, HR, if we can see them. And I don't even know who's applied. We haven't seen the list yet.
So what's the, I mean, I read through the description and I was like, holy moly, that's a lot. Is that person gonna have staff? Are they gonna utilize your staff? How's that all gonna work? Or what are you envisioning
I'll tell you
about
what
how
I'm
that?
envisioning. Sometimes my vision is much different than what really happens. I believe this employee will be in our office, in the commissioner's office. We'll work with the commissioners. And I think our staff will be staff. It's just because of the Open Public Meetings Act that we're not able to communicate. Previously, we've been in session 5 days a week, but unless it's really on a calendar to take action on something, we can't make a decision. So they will be able to do the day-to-day operations. The board will still be an active board, working with the different departments and elected officials. So will the administrator.
They're gonna keep us in line.
But I don't anticipate a new. Most of the counties, especially the ones that are our size, have a county administrator. Outside of what's on our agenda.
Yeah. I just wondered how that looked in other counties for staffing. I mean, it seems like that is a lot to do. I mean, the three of you are doing it now and have a staff. I would think that that person would need help, but I didn't know how that was gonna work, how that would impact your office. Just curious.
But very well could be, I will say like central services, they are taking over a component of it. Kirk has previously taken over a component of this, kind of, in my mind. The duties of the administrator, definitely development services with Tom, doing a lot of it. But.
So
yeah,
then that'll take a little bit off of Tom and a little bit off of other departments that have assumed those.
And I view it as more of a cohesive transition when you have like a different county commissioners that come in. I mean, the county commissioners will still even make decisions, but I think it's the drastic change. I mean, it'll just, the continuity of county government.
I think it'll help for communicating with all the department heads and then him or her coming back to us and keeping us informed as to what's going on outside of this room.
I would say that HR also does a component of it as well. And probably Barb and Caitlin, so it'll release some of their duties as well. But I've been wrong before. It could just be something totally different.
I asked some of the other clerks if, if they had a county administrator or a equivalent, and a couple of them couldn't say enough good things about their county administrator, that they were a big help and stuff like that. So
I think they will be able to help. The county administrator should be able to help with some of the disciplinary, things that we don't always hear about or know, like your employee, your previous employee there. They would be able to help facilitate things like that. Work with Blair, our new risk manager.
Yeah.
We have some risk.
Yeah. Okay.
So it will be a new position, which will be.
When are you anticipating that person will start?
Well, I don't see them here.
Well, I guess it's open until filled, right? So
And we just requested today to see the applicants, so I haven't seen the applicants. They're still not here. We'll probably start interviewing as soon as we have.
But you could have someone this year, but maybe not till next year if it takes a while.
Correct, yes.
Potentially before the end of the year.
That's the hope.
if all goes
We
well.
did budget it, so we do have the position budgeted for it.
You had budgeted for that previously.
For 20, it's in the
For this year.
2025 budget.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure, am I thinking it's the insurance person? We put it in the budget.
I think you guys had
No,
it in the
Kim,
budget.
I better, we've
It's
done a
been
lot of
talked about
transition.
for a while.
We'll ask Rob to validate that.
Yeah, it's budgeted. Plus, we have a position that is also available, possibly. So yeah, it is budgeted separately.
A position of what?
A position.
The position is available and it is budgeted.
Gotcha.
So we'll have that position in place before the end of the year, unless the three of us make a decision not to.
Or you don't get a qualified applicant.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have 11.
Oh, we have 11?
I heard 11,
Okay.
but then today she said 8, I think. Didn't
Yeah, I
she?
thought we had 8.
We had like 13, and then I think we had 11 that they kind of had estimated qualified, and then they must have reviewed them again, so they might be at 8.
Okay.
So we have a handful, Kim.
We have a number of
Yeah.
applicants.
Yeah, well, that's good. That soon, I mean, that
Yeah.
sounds promising.
Did better there than we do on finding a county engineer. I will say that.
Did you find one?
No,
Oh,
we just even made an application. Come forward, so. So if you're ever at another event with other county people, I'd like to see if they want to get rid of their engineer.
They probably don't. Because they're kind of the.
probably don't want them if they're willing to give them up.
There's that too, I guess. If they have a good engineer, they want to get rid of him.
Who wouldn't want to move to beautiful Grant County?
Well, that's what we
You
were
should
trying to
have
figure
tons
out.
of applicants.
Well, and I think Dave, what's Dave's last name?
Dave Brand?
Dave Brand. I mean, it sounds like we're in the market, financially, we're in the market. He says, but if you're kind of like on the west side, moving over here, it is hot too. Hopefully they're not looking at our temperatures right now. But you know, if you have a 3% mortgage, you're gonna come over here with a higher mortgage, but our cost of living hopefully is more affordable. But people are just happy where they're at. Not necessarily looking for a change.
Well, just like I wouldn't want to move to the west side, so
They're having some hot
I
days
like
too.
it over here. Yeah. So, that was all I had.
So we've broadened our search. I think Hoffman is now, we've signed it under them for a week, and then we'll see how that goes, and if not, we'll look for a headhunter. Broaden search.
Maybe we can steal one from one of those counties that really, really like theirs.
We have some neighboring counties that have looked previously, but sometimes when you get near retirement age, do you really want to take on a new job, or sometimes you're just content where you're at?
Yeah. Well, and that was those were some of the comments I got too from other clerks, was that they had somebody that had been there for a long time, or somebody that had been there a long time just retired, and so they were in the process of hiring too. And so it must be one of those positions that people tend to stay at for quite some time, which would be an advantage, because like you say, going through new commissioners coming and going, having that constant position would be helpful through those transitions. So
To train the new commissioners. Kevin's done very, very well though.
I'll use training.
All right, that was all I had.
Okay, well, it is,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Kim. It's 1:13. We are in recess until 1:15. Hi, Barb.
Good afternoon. It is 1:15 p.m. and we are here for district court update.
Public Works, Public Defense.
1:15.
Should be Public Defense.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm on the wrong week. Public Defense, Brett Hill, welcome.
Hello. I don't know that I've got a lot to report on other than we did yesterday receive the Indigent Defense Standards order from the state Supreme Court, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at that. I know Mr. McCrae.
47.
Sorry?
47.
47.
Is that what they said?
Ultimately.
Yeah.
In 10 years.
Oh.
We get to go 10% until.
Yeah, 10% of the difference between the new standards and the current standards per year until you're, fully comply. Of course, it does say that they suggest that you, what's it say, implementation accomplished as soon as reasonably possible. Implementation, however, to be accomplished in a phased approach with an annual reduction of at least 10% of the difference between the current standard and the new standard. So at this point, so the difference is 100 and I actually wrote down some numbers here. 280 cases was the difference. So every year, I suppose that's 28 cases less for felony. That's felonies, of course. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at district court. 28 cases per year in district court, which is the 400 versus the 120. And the 150 versus 47 is 100.
Okay, so it goes from 400 to 120.
Yes, if you're not waiting, and we haven't been waiting.
Okay,
So.
and then Superior Court.
Superior Court is 150 under the current standard, and 47 is the new standard. And so that's 10.3 cases, of course, so 103 difference, so 10.3 per year. That starts, they start the new standards on January 1st. So, I mean, the good news is if we don't lose any lawyers, where we're currently at, because you always have to have a little room, would meet the standards where we've been the last couple of years.
How often do you go to recruiting events?
Actual recruiting events?
Yeah, like go to a school,
I've only
hype
been
them up to come to
only
Grant
once.
County.
I've only been to once or twice.
When you do one, you should invite one of us.
Yeah, you want to go?
I'm a hype man.
Okay.
I love Grant. I wouldn't be in Grant County.
So Grant County? Well, that's a good idea. The reason I just haven't been going much, Paul Kelly tends to go in Yakima County. He's been going and he's really had no luck. So for example, Gonzaga, I mean, it's the closest one, is they'll have them and you go and they, students sign up to, they'll sign up to do it and nobody signs up for public defense. And so you go up there and you don't have any appointments. The thing I've done with them is I've been on to sell rural, Eastern Washington, rural counties. I've been on a couple of Zoom meetings where, they have events where people come and then we do breakout sessions to talk about particular areas of law. And we, sometimes we'll have a couple of students break out with us type of thing. And so, yeah. Right now, our strategy, we have, in fact, we just started we have an intern under the rural practice public defense program that Office of Public Defense does, the State Office of Public Defense. So we have an intern that's just started and he's working and things are good. The idea is he's between his second and third year. So the idea is if he has a good experience, hopefully he wouldn't mind coming back next year, but that's sort of a little bit longer game, and hopefully, and who knows, I mean, he could do anything he wants next year, yeah, so we have this intern, and that's, it seems great. So other than that, we advertise continually, basically. The big concern right now is and I think that was one of the things that the Supreme Court was really concerned with is the new lawyer. There just aren't a lot of lawyers going into the public sector at all, whether it's prosecution or public defense. And that's kind of one of our issues. They had that in mind. I think that's why you ended up with the 10-year system instead of the system the state bar proposed. And so anyway, and my concern is we have a lot of lawyers in our system right now that are already retirement age and ready to retire. And so, getting the new young lawyers is sort of our issue. For example, I was explaining a little earlier that we have an interested lawyer that's interested in a contract that's fully qualified to do any kind of case, Superior Court cases, and I'll probably be proposing a contract within the next week or two to the board, but it's the same thing. He's a little bit older, I think he's younger, quite a little bit younger than me, but he's not a new young lawyer to come eat up district court cases and things like that. So, and it kind of seems that's, where we've been having the luck. Anyway, but there's not much to do except keep advertising and look for people.
Yeah, we're not alone.
And do that. Yeah, no, all the counties are having the issue. I talked quite a little bit with Chelan County, Chelan, Yakima, and Douglas are all advertising right now. I haven't heard from Okanagan, but I'm sure they are. They just started their new public defense office up there this spring. And so I'm sure Okanagan's working on it too. So, and of course, Lewis County, Mason County, all the west side counties. I know, talked to Harry Gaznick up in Port Angeles, that's Clallam County. And he's got the same issues, So, yeah.
Do you think that maybe with a reduction in these credits, if we'll see more, or is that their bottom line as well?
That's what a lot of people try to advocate, is that it makes it easy,
But on a personal level, they still have, that reduces their load as well. If they're not, like if they're contracted, they still have a reduction.
Yeah, they would, and I mean that's kind of the idea of some of the advocates of the reduced caseload limits is, well, it makes it more attractive for people to, and I suppose that might be true, but I'm not sure making people lazier is the answer. But I mean, I've voiced my opinion in our meetings and that, but it's not always well taken. Of course, I'm not the only one that feels that way either, and the work per case, the work in the last 10 years has increased significantly just based on, the advent of body cams. And I mean, you can have a pretty simple case and you have 20 hours of body cams you got to watch, or somebody has to.
Our public records officers, they do love the body cam.
Yeah, no, the body cams are great because you see what people actually said and what happened, and you're not guessing, and but I mean, it's great in that way, but it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And to not engage in malpractice, you have to pretty much have to watch them, while you're paying attention, kind of a thing, I don't know, so I mean, I kind of get the idea, but that maybe, caseloads changed, but I don't know, I think every kind of employer laments the same thing, that, maybe we don't quite dedicate as much of our lives to our professions as we used to, and maybe that is a good thing, but it's definitely different. And what's really different about it is how they force it on us instead of letting us do it. I find it interesting if we look, and this is a political philosophy, I guess, but this is mandated to 10 years, but there's kind of a balance there. And I think what the Supreme Court did is with doing the 10 years and telling you that, but do it as soon as reasonably possible. If there's any truth to the idea that lower caseloads may attract more attorneys, really what they've done is they've put offices in contention with each other, I guess by the free market, whoever has the best deal can get more lawyers, I know King County has adopted, and they're really aggressively recruiting and dropping those caseloads by ordinance, I think ordinance. And in fact, the director in Chelan County is really upset. He's lost a couple lawyers to King County. They poached them. They've cold called them. And of course, he was quite upset about that.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody want to live in King County though.
I can't imagine myself, but
Sometimes
especially when it's here or Chelan County. I mean, quality of life to me is so much better. But
Where's King County's courthouse at?
well, it depends on where they're working, but there's one downtown. It's by the Smith Building there. The old Smith Building, the fancy Smith Building. Yeah, and Renton has a courthouse. And they got district courts all over the place. Yeah. So anyway, I'll bet that's what Kevin's going to talk about too.
Pretty sure.
Case credits.
What's that?
The case credits, yeah.
No, I hadn't heard of it.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think if with Kevin sitting here, I got 2 minutes, I guess. Considering what they could have done to us, this might be maybe the best thing that could have happened, besides nothing. At least they're giving us some time to work on it.
Well, it would have been a killer if they implemented this starting January 1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bar had a 3-year?
The 3-year implementation.
A 3-year implementation, but it was still pretty drastic. Compared, I mean, it was not possible to.
This will allow Washington State 10 years to figure out how they're going to help.
How they're going to help pay for it, and that's probably part of their thought process.
I doubt it, but
well, maybe it'll change in a couple of years, and we won't have to do it at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath.
Well, you know what I've thought? I've always thought that the last few years, I think the state is intent on taking over public defense 100%. I mean, I think the people who are there are intent on creating a statewide system. I'll probably be retired by then, so whatever.
You'll be working for the state, Brett. I know.
I'd rather work for the good people of Grant County than the
Yes, we
city.
appreciate it.
Anyway, that's where I'm at.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, well, it is 1:30 p.m. and we will keep rolling right into the prosecuting attorney's office update. We have Prosecutor Kevin McCray and Barbara Dornick.
Is Rebecca online?
I do not see her online yet.
Okay. Andy, what are you here for?
Solid waste.
What's that?
Solid waste in the city.
Okay, yeah, so I'm waiting for Rebecca on that one. Barbara, what do you got?
I don't know if any of you were able to skim the amendments to the dog, or the dangerous dog ordinance. Perfect. Well, if you have any questions, summon me back and I'm happy to answer them. But to give you some context, the amendments are partially a response to the Gray case and partially a response to some issues that I've been having with the bench proving infractions, and our understanding of the board's intention is that the board did not intend that animals need to be previously declared by law enforcement as potentially dangerous or dangerous in order to cite that dog. Now, if that's a misunderstanding of the board's intent, then the code does read currently that the dog previously needs to have been cited as potentially dangerous or dangerous, at least according to some members of the bench that I am routinely before on these matters. However, if the commissioner's intention is that law enforcement can cite a dog as potentially dangerous or dangerous with an infraction, even if that dog has never been previously declared potentially dangerous or dangerous, then we would need these amendments to accurately show the board's intent. So again, please summon me if you have further questions. I'm happy to come answer, but that's the context for those.
I like the second one you said.
Yeah, giving law enforcement more ability to cite.
Yeah. I mean, a dog bites, a dog bit. Doesn't need to bite twice to know it's dangerous.
Yeah, and then they can still cite them as, or declare them potentially dangerous or dangerous under the parallel procedure. And then clerk of the board indicated you may want to discuss the ADA response issue.
Rebecca is just now getting on.
Okay,
She
great.
should be there right now.
Oh,
Just promoted her. Did you too?
I did, you did too? Yeah, I
Yeah,
did too.
she's on now.
okay. So why don't we jump to Annie's issue and then we can go back to the ADA stuff.
Executive session,
Probably, yeah.
which
Litigation,
one? Litigation
yep.
or
Yep.
how long?
Rebecca, what do you think?
Thanks, Jerome.
Maybe, well, it depends on how much discussion there is. Maybe start off with 10 minutes.
Okay.
Andy, do you think 5 minutes would be sufficient or?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, so maybe start off with 5 minutes, and if we need more, we can get more, or we can just add more.
Okay, we'll be going into executive session from 1:33 until 1:38 for litigation RCW 42.30.1101I.
Throw you in the backstage.
It is 1:38 p.m. and we are out of executive session,
Thank you, Andy.
and we are all back in the main.
Okay, so we had the ADA letter come in that everybody saw from Miss Diamond. I guess Blair's working on it. I have dealt with Miss Diamond in this capacity before, as you could probably tell from the letter, where she was none too happy with me, even though all I did was, so last time around in court, the court gave her an attorney as an ADA accommodation, and she appealed to the Supreme Court, and I just passed that along to the Supreme Court to see if they wanted to give her an accommodation or not, and she was not happy with that, so. Yeah, so that one could be interesting, but I'll work with Blair if he has any questions or anything like that. Does anybody have any, since we're just getting started, I don't really have a whole lot.
Our question was for staff, since she emailed staff to, do you want us just to not do anything with the email reply other than saying we gave it to the commissioners?
Yeah, should go to Blair, should probably be the point of contact.
Okay, so
Yep.
Blair be the point of contact, because he gave those responses,
Uh-huh.
so he should be the one who does that?
Yeah, he should be the point of contact.
Thank you.
Unless, I mean, obviously the commissioners can overrule that, but that would be my opinion.
No, I think that would probably be a good.
Kirk was, she worked directly with Kirk last time around, so.
Yeah, I think Blair's more versed in that
Yeah.
than we are.
Yeah, so, okay. And then obviously, I think you guys just, we're having a discussion with Brett over the caseload standards. Instead of nuking the whole system, they're going to boil it like a frog and see if it ever breaks. But what?
It's apropos and it's making me giggle.
Okay. So basically, we have 10 years. Each year, the caseload limit cuts down by 10%. So, knock off 10 cases per year for the felony side. And we'll see if the law schools can spin up. They are spinning up to produce more attorneys, but that's really what it's going to take, is just a lot more attorneys. And, right now, for the first couple of years, we're probably okay. And I mean, we're not okay in that we don't have enough attorneys to prosecute the cases we have now. But I don't know that the caseload limits reducing caseload limits by 10% will have a huge impact. But here in the next couple of years, you're gonna have to start expanding both public defenders and the prosecutors. You can't just expand the public defenders, because the prosecutors will get eaten alive and go be public defenders.
Well, you won't have any prosecutors, yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to expand both kind of in step.
Does this case limit law apply to just public or private also?
Only public. That's one of the screwed up things about it. Yeah, I agree.
But if they're a contracted employee or a contracted attorney who's working for the county doing 10, 50%, whatever, that impacts his personal business as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's public for those terms. So yeah.
He wouldn't be able to work for multiple counties doing the 47.
Probably not. No. The details of what we got was just kind of a general overview. The details of the rule will come down later. In the proposal for the rule, there was controls for that. Basically, you had the caseload limit was a full-time person's limit, and so you couldn't go out because you have to tell the court, I am only doing this many cases, and to swear that you're complying with it. So no, you really couldn't work for multiple counties and do that. That would be.
I'm just looking at it from a money side, right? You go to law school, it costs a lot of money. You want to make a lot of money. If you're not doing a lot of cases, you're probably not going to continue to get paid more and more and more.
Well,
whereas in the private side, obviously you could work more and earn a lot more.
It depends on how much. I mean, the cost per case is going to go way up, is what it's going to be. Where you have 150 cases, you go down to 47. Well, the person's going to want to get paid the same.
Yeah, our attorneys were not going to take a reduction.
Yeah, nobody's going to take a reduction and pay for that. And it'll probably go up because you're going to have more demand for attorneys. So, I don't think the cost per attorney is going to go down at all, even though the number of cases they can handle is.
But I believe when they're doing, like in Brett's office, when they're doing other jobs, they just sign something. I don't know if they actually look at the case credits outside of but they've got to sign some form. I don't know if the county has produced it.
Yeah. There's a court form that they have to sign to say I'm complying with the caseload limits.
If they're part-time.
Yep. So yes, it's not a huge crisis that was anticipated when the rule first came out, because it's, like I said, slow boiling the frog. It's going to take a long time to get there, but
yeah, it's like each county is going to crack at a different year.
Yeah. And so it won't be a statewide crisis at once. Yeah. So yeah, start lobbying Olympia, because I don't know how we're going to pay for it with the tax limitations and.
We've already been lobbying.
I know.
But we will continue.
Yeah, I know.
Every county in the state has been.
It's going, holy crap. Yeah. Yep. So. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Did you get your answer on the dangerous dog?
I did. I just wanted to let you guys know what on earth you just had dumped into your inbox before you went in and said, why did Barbara do all of this?
I feel that they should one bite and they get a ticket. We don't need to wait for multiple injuries.
And then you said 47 case credits, right?
For felony.
What is considered a case? Is that a plea? Is that going to court?
Whatever.
How many hours is a case?
See, it varies a whole ton. And that's part of the problem is So a case can be, a case can take 500 hours if it's a heavy duty murder case where you've got a lot of stuff, or a case can take 2 hours. And you get the same, there's case waiting systems, but none of them are perfect. And some of it depends on what the defendant wants to do, what the prosecutor wants to do, how much gets pushed to trial versus how much is pled out. Right now we plead a lot of cases because of resource limitations. This could cause a lot more cases to go to trial, in which case you're gonna need more judges, more courtrooms, more jurors, all this other stuff. So there's a ripple effect if that's what they want.
But even if you were doing pleas, then you're gonna need more attorneys.
But it is weighted where I think our public defense, it was 10 to 12 hours. We had at one time 10 to 12 hours of like extraordinary case credits.
Yeah, I mean, it varies a lot. So kind of depends on what.
I was gonna slide it across the table.
Yeah, so generally one case credit means one felony assigned to you. And then whatever you do with it, some experienced attorneys can probably do 47 case credits in 200 hours and take the rest of the year off.
Well, that's kind of what I was wondering.
It's certainly possible. For a Walmart burg, it doesn't take a whole lot. What's the security video show? Shows him taking stuff. Was he trespassed before? Yep, here's the form. It's not hard. So it's certainly possible. And that's, and you either work expands to fill the time allotted, so we're going to be a lot less efficient, or people aren't going to have enough to do.
It's a ray of sunshine.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a day. It's been a day.
All right, anything else I can help you with?
Long day.
Yeah.
Any other things for Kevin, Barbara, Rebecca?
No, well, and it was a dangerous dog, and we've addressed that.
Yep. Yep, we do need to update that ordinance.
Yeah.
I'll get that scheduled for hearing.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, hearing nothing else, we will go into recess until 2 p.m. We are back for our weekly commissioner and consent agenda meeting. Good afternoon, it is 2 p.m. and we will now begin our weekly commissioners meeting and call this meeting to order. And begin with an open forum for public input, 3 minutes per person, 15-minute time limit. Jerome, please come to the speaker.
Jerome Weavers, Moses Lake. I'd like to talk to you about 2 big positions I have open in the county. One is the county administrator position. The other one is the county engineer. I just heard today that Prothman is working on the county engineer position. You may have to consider other enticements to get people to move. You see it in private business. You might have to do something like so much credit towards moving, or, you can't, I don't think in the current situation, you're gonna get anybody or anyone soon. And you're just gonna have to get a little more creative, I think. It's gonna cost you more money, which you don't have, but you have to weigh what you don't have versus the people you don't have, and the effect that has on the rest of your workforce. So that was it today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome.
Just a note, just Jonathan Hartman is working on comparisons and those types of things that could entice someone, how we compare in the market to those things. We have one call-in user, Cammie is online.
Hey, Cammie, I'm gonna allow you permission to speak. Cammie, do you have any public comment today? Cammie, do you have any public comment? Nope. Okay.
Hearing none, no other callers, no one in the room, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
I'll second that. Motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes to approve the agenda. Do we have any correspondence, emails, letters of support or response?
I do not.
Okay. Commissioner roundtable. Any discussion topics? Tomorrow I'm going to Beverly Burke with Nelson and Larry to see the
Transmission line.
right away. I think, is Dart going?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
Not to
Oh, will they be talking about the round, the 5 feet of,
Yeah.
if they, what that would look like?
Yep.
Okay.
What time am I going now? 11? Okay.
Is that something that looks like, hopefully it looks like it could happen?
Check it out, see what it looks like. Hard to make a decision, not ever see. Other roundtable, just last week I did my interview for ag forestry leadership, and I won't know if I am chosen until July 9th. But interview went well. It was cool, good group of people in the ag industry mainly.
Mainly from around here.
Chateau Saint Michel had 3 people on it. Kennewick had the farm credit lady, like the main loan lady was on that. I don't remember her name. And then 2 farmers, one was from Dayton and one was from maybe Benton City area. They were in previous classes. That's my update on that. Any other items?
Just our health board meeting tonight.
No, it's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow. Quincy.
You're not the first one
Almost
like.
stressed her out.
No, I'm like, okay, something else was, did you say it was tomorrow
me.
night?
Yeah,
I'm
it was
like,
me that
okay,
said
wait,
it was.
is it, maybe it is tonight. I'm gonna get online tonight at 6 o'clock just to make sure.
6 to 9.
Or 6:30. 6:30.
We'll get a break tonight.
You guys did see that it was just Zoom only for this one?
There's 2 walk-on items that are on the agenda as well.
Yes, we have 2 walk-ons. The Ellisburg fence and the J&M Pacific. 88,000 and 15,000.
Okay, if we don't have any roundtable items or anything that wants to be discussed, I would entertain a motion for consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda items 1 through 16.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to approve consent agenda items 1 through 16.
Mr. Chair, we have 2 walk-ons. One is from Ellensburg Fence in the amount of 88,000. For the balance.
$300.40.
And the second one is J&M Pacific in the amount of 15,000.
13,380 and 56 cents.
Actually, 13,000. Thank you. I move that we approve those walk-ons.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Just make those correct amounts, 13,380, 56 cents and 88,340 cents. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to approve the 2 walk-on items as stated by Commissioner Carter.
Thank you for the amount. I was trying to write and I could not get those 2 items fast enough, so I just got 18 or 88, and then I thought it was 15, not 13. So thank you.
Got those, Barb?
Yes, sir.
Ouch.
10.
Yes. There, I'm pretty sure is a place that you have to sign in that one. I don't know that I got.
Are these rice
get the flag. No, they're weird little chocolate crepes from Costco. Yeah, it's like chocolate hazelnut. They're not great. Just
This is like a rice cake. Rice Krispie treat. Rice Krispie treat too.
There is a place to sign that one. Just missed the flag. Didn't have any sticky notes to shred.
Was Jerry Johnson on the line? Was that the Jerry? Or was there another Jerry?
Jerry, it was Jerry Jasmine. I had talked to him on the phone and he had said that Craig wasn't in and that he had nothing prepared and he had quite a bit of work to do. And so then I had said, that's okay. Like if we need to cancel, we can cancel. And he goes, yeah, okay. And then he logged on and so it was just,
oh shoot, but we already canceled the meeting.
yes, but I spoke to him, I emailed him back and forth for a little bit and we've got a coroner's office update scheduled for next week. So they can talk to you guys.
Talking about a order time. Is it?
This one?
Yes.
You signed it.
Oh. Nice catch.
Usually it's me.
Yeah, it used to be me every time.
So to confirm, all three of you will be here on Thursday to speak for a day?
Planning to. I might get here a little late so Kevin can do the reading.
Are they doing it right at 10:30? Sometimes we're.
They leave Walmart at 10:30, and so they should start arriving at 11.
He would do that, yeah.
Yep.
But you just walk up there with no idea that you're.
Usually it takes a while, Kevin. So I've got to be in those fellows first, but I should have, this Friday at 10:30, it might be a little sketch, but usually we're the very last ones. And you have the judges who take a while. It's usually 30 or 40 minutes after. SWAT will be first.
And then
It starts
Kevin's
at 11, I believe. I
And
just put
Kevin, we're
10:30
towards
for
the
you
end,
to be there.
even if, so the kids sitting there, it's usually hot, they're dying.
Gives you just enough time to get nervous to read.
Kevin's gonna give the best speech ever.
I cry because it's so emotional, so sweet.
It's super cute.
Is it something that's prepared for us?
Yeah, you just read that.
Well, but you know what, usually the kids, we literally are the last ones, and if you just, I try to speed it up as fast as I can, because they're sitting out in the sun, they're done. Their families are done, the siblings are done. Some of their classmates will come.
It's cute.
And if you put this in a bag. Caitlin has some cute little.
Been on the phone with the DOJ.
Ooh.
Had to completely rewrite the narrative because they decided that Judge Gwynn's narrative isn't what we're doing and we can't give you this grade. It's like, but that is what we're doing. You're just seeing it differently. So I had to do pictures and arrows and.
But you did it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And she said, well, how come you can't do this on our site? I said, I don't know. She goes, oh, well, you can't do that because your budget hasn't been accepted. You're the one that accepts the budget. Well, I need you to rewrite the narrative. Okay.
I hope we get another grant like that, because it's been so much fun.
Well, we're going to also have to do archaeological determinations and environmental assessments.
I think the archaeological is just a joke. It's expensive.
Cultural resource management, aka one of the only 2 ways that you can make money with an archaeology degree. Sorry,
Yeah,
3.
so
The
now,
3rd one is if you find
want some
something
side
really
work?
cool.
So now, yeah, so now it's come walk my property for $8,000.
So she has to accept my narrative. We'll see. As soon as I hear back from her, then I can re-input the budget. And then the budget that we did input
Is $1 million.
on the line that said construction, 660,000. She said, well, that doesn't say deconstruction of a breezeway. it's a numerical value in your budget. Well, that has to say deconstruction and construction. I said, but the only value you can put in there is a number. Well, put that in the narrative so I know. Okay.
It must be new, Tom.
Nope.
Anybody?
Lots of proclamations. Look at that.
We're cheap for a day.
Right on.
Even
So I'm sorry I wasn't here for my walk-ons.
It was a dual. I had one number.
On mine?
No, me, because
Oh.
you were talking really fast, I was trying to write it really fast.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, it was me. I already said it.
Got it. Did I?
I'm gonna grab
Okay,
Blair
nice.
and go to the fairgrounds.
We can put it at the fair, I hope it's nice and cool.
Look at an ADA project and then go check out West Shore.
Oh gosh, I don't even know what.
Oh, I didn't even see that. You're right.
It's really
Cheated.
embarrassing.
But you missed a signing spot. I've been doing it for a few years, so it was embarrassing the first couple times. Brittany used to say, wow, you have one job. Sign at the sticky note. So hard.
All right.
It's sort of not
My
in
favorite
there.
thing today was when this person from the federal government said, it has to say that because we want to make sure you're spending our money correctly and not taking advantage of us.
From the federal government.
I had to not chuckle when she said.
Did you tell him I'm gonna call you on?
I got that one right.
Hope so.
If not, I'll be heard from.
I'm sure somebody will tell you whether or not you did it right.
Yep. I gave her permission to not tell me politely.
Not all the mistakes I make.
I would like to meet me in McDonald's kid.
She said, yeah.
Yeah. Starting, and I walked in the door. I was here early.
You were.
Just so
Okay, so on the, I'm just looking at this, if they canceled one, oh, they probably gonna charge us into the other ticket? It looks like we paid this twice. No. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm holding this up. We paid for a return flight home, but did we pay for the initial, the first flight? Because he said it was canceled. I just want to make sure I know.
Oh, the reimbursement. You want to know where it went?
Yeah, so we should have had a refund for the first return.
It just depends on if it was on a county card or on a personal. Does it show?
But when did we pay for the, no, when did we pay for the trip there? There's no state. Flight was delayed, wasn't going to. So they got a full line, last Airlines flight. But they should have a credit from the other. They didn't. I just want to make sure that we didn't pay for 2 return flights. I mean, each person, it looks like they're, it kind of looks a little odd. Just carry on.
Not, I made a note of it though, so if we can't figure it out today, we can ask her when he's here tomorrow. Later this week.
Paying for 2. That would be return flight. And I did see the first flight. Fully returned, so that gives me reason to believe that we've already paid for a previous return flight.
They flew and stayed at a hotel?
Well, they got a new flight to come home.
I'm in the wrong department.
Like they missed their flight or something.
Yeah, but they should have a credit for another one, so.
Yeah, their original flights should have been credited. They shouldn't have actually had to pay to change flights.
So it looks like we are possibly billed for 2 return flights.
Okay, we got this one,
We need to make sure.
this one, this one, fee for check bag, fee for check bag. Plus there's no receipts attached.
I was just assuming that somebody else had the receipt.
Well, I mean, I would agree with you, but they have the hotel receipts attached, but they don't have the flight receipts attached. And then why'd you check 3 bags?
Where were they going?
They were coming
Ohio?
home. Oh, yeah, they were coming home, but there's no flight there, so like I said, the notes there, somebody approved to buy an additional flight to get home. But
Let's see if Dell's available.
Just call Jenny.
Jenny approved it.
Huberto.
That makes sense. We would have a round trip flight
They did.
and then they changed flights.
They might, yeah, they look like they flew on United, switched to Alaska to come back.
Did they stay an extra day or something?
Don't know.
Changing the assignment to Microsoft 365. Just to get our internal director, Huberto, right? His last name?
Yeah. Oh, it's ARPA. They might have went through all these before, who knows? Because this is a reimbursement request.
They don't see a credit on the return flight that we previously paid. Just want to make sure. Carrie might know though too. Carrie probably knows.
She is not answering. Do you want me to try Dell?
Yeah, try Dell.
Because Carrie might know too.
Is she on?
Carrie's not in today.
Not in.
My daughter was in Erie. That was so much. I just got to sleep.
No answer on that one as well.
Okay, so can we hold this one just because since we're going to sign it or some, I feel that there's some discrepancies.
Yeah, we can hold it.
I just feel like we need more, I would like more information.
You want an official hold or just a hold to find out,
I think
get the
I'll
more
hold to
detail?
find out sort of more details. And Carrie probably has the exact reason.
So what, like,
We just need to hear from them before we
Make
process
sure
it.
that we did not pay for 2 return flights.
okay.
Renew has already paid them though. That's just,
And they should,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
should.
That's just the ARPA reimbursement for that. But they have already paid them. They're from April 11th. We just need to
So is
confirm
that
that they
the-
got refunded onto maybe a renewed credit card.
Just like more information on that.
Anything else? Been in a meeting or is that it?
That's it.
Okay, well then we are finishing our weekly consent agenda at 2:23 p.m. and we'll be recessing until we're back together at Sheep for a Day at 11 a.m.